Hello and welcome to High Caliber TV, your source for figure and model updates every Wednesday and Friday. So today on the Workbench, I'm going to be showing you how to preserve your paints, make them last longer, and how to revive them, so to speak, if they've gone south. So this is something that I just got, and what you need to do with microflat is keep it thoroughly mixed, or else the components are going to separate and then it won't work as intended. And microflat is something that you really need to make work, and it should work properly every time. So this, just like every other bottle of paint, once you get it, usually they don't come with sinkers, but there are some really cool brands that actually give you sinkers. I've heard some that are little metal skulls this size, which would be really cool. I think they're called Reaper paints. So you're just going to take them, drop them in. You can get those ball bearings at any sort of outdoor shop. They're sinkers for fishing. So in the fishing department, we have a couple of fishing shops around where I live, so I was able to get those for, they're like $2 for 1,000. Not really, but yeah, you'll have enough. So put a couple in here, and then you're going to need to give it a really thorough shake. With something like microflat or a Humbrol enamel, usually what I do is when I'm sitting around like reading or playing video games or whatever, I'll have the bottles that I'm going to be using later, and I'll just, when there's downtime, I'll just give them a quick shake and do that over time to really break down the chunks that are going to settle. Because if you just do it really well right before you use it, you might not actually mix it as thoroughly as if you take the time to get it done. So let's move on to something else. Life Color, they're a really great brand, but if you purpose buy things sometimes like I do, where I'll have a project in mind and I'll get the colors for them, but then you don't end up, if it's not one of your sort of day-to-day paints, like a color that you're going to use consistently, like gunship green or tan or whatever, then it'll probably settle. And Light Color, which was unbeknownst to me, are particularly bad. When they go south, they like really go south. So let's take a look here, and I can show you that. I don't know if it's coming out, but yeah, there you go. It's like it was never intended to be used to coat anything. It looks terrible, and it's completely it's just awful. So what they'll give you, or you can purchase, is an acrylic thinner, and I was able to get this for Life Color because they tell you to use theirs, very similar to the Circus. And you could probably get away with using some other brand of acrylic thinner, but I just used this, and I used it on another color that had the same sort of this effect happen to it, and now you can hear that. There's a sinker in there, believe it or not. It's just not moving. So it makes it absolutely glisten again, and you get that awesome Life Color quality that you purchased it for. So that's just a really quick sort of hint as to how you can keep these things going. I know a lot of times you'll have sort of esoteric, weird colors that you're probably not going to use, so I hope this comes in handy. Thanks very much for watching. Check us out at highcaliberminiatures.com. I'll put the link in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to High Caliber TV, your source for figure and model updates every Wednesday and Friday. So today on the Workbench, I'm going to be showing off something that I have been building for IPMS Nanton. I don't know if I'm going to be able to take it down there because we are flying, and I just don't know if I'll have the carry space to bring something like a case with this in it down. But I wanted to talk briefly about this build and what I learned from it, and hopefully I can help some people steer themselves away from the mistakes I've made. So let's start off with the fact that it's semi-gloss. This company, I'm not going to show you which one because I don't want to talk, maybe I got a bad batch or something, and I don't want people to come to us for bad reviews, but it said it was a matte top coat, and look, like, that's not, you could almost shave with the sheen that you can grab off the ground in this. Anyway, it really changed. Not only did it make it not flat, which is what I need this to be, but it made it like it's like putting a lens on it, and the lens you've put on it is unflattering, to say the least. Anyway, so a lot of the details, a lot of the brush strokes, things like that, that would normally, under a flat coat, be harmonized, were accentuated, unfortunately. So, to remedy this, go to your local hobby shop, you know, beg, borrow, or steal. Get as many bottles of micro scales, micro flat as you possibly can. Put some sinkers in it, and, you know, never shy away from this. This is what you want. Don't accept substitutes. I thin mine with a dose of reduced isopropyl alcohol. As with all my stuff, it's reduced to 70%. That's at Allen's formula. And we reduce it with water, and then you can thin a lot of stuff down, especially things like microflat, where you don't want to be using future floor wax to thin it, because then that'll, you know, that's floor wax is glossy, or semi-gloss at least. So anyway, use this, it's great. Yeah, let's move on. So another couple of lessons I learned, these branches here, which I showed a picture on, I believe it was on Instagram, maybe on Facebook. I showed a picture of the brand that I used for these leaves here, these palms, and it's just semi-stiff cardstock. I believe they're laser cut. These things are fantastic. They come unpainted, unprepared, but I just gave them a quick spray, touched them up with some dry brushing and a green glaze from Citadel over it, just to accentuate some stuff, give them a little bit of depth so that they don't just look like painted cardstock. Anyway, they conform, they change shape, you can get some really fantastic, dynamic looking foliage out of these things, and I just can't say enough good things about them, considering it was like, you know, 12 bucks for a lot of foliage on this sheet. And now on to the figures. So these figures basically build themselves. I mean, you come across certain projects where they just fall together over like a weekend, and that was the case with these guys. So I posted a few pictures of them when I began them a few weeks ago. I got onto some other stuff, and then came back this weekend with a vengeance, and they just went together so well. All the painting was completed. One thing that I wish I had covered in a video, but I didn't, was the fact that I did not countershade this particular pair. So there's a lot of the deep shadows are black. Unfortunately, I'm not too. It's got a. I don't know if you can tell. It's got a real, almost graphic novel-y look to it, which is a style that you can employ, but it's not a style necessarily harmonious with the way that I did the base, and that's where I feel I could have possibly thought a bit further ahead than I have. So what I'm going to do from now on is continue to countershade as I have been doing. This was just sort of a let's see if this will work kind of thing. What I did was I sprayed them with black primer, and then over top of that I sprayed a really thin down layer of the uniform, the gunship green kind of uniform color. And then over top of that I used glaze medium, painted it over all by hand, and it looks good. It looks fine, but I wouldn't do it again. Or if I did it again, I'd have to really sort of think ahead about how I want it to become harmonized with the base. So yeah. All in all, I've really enjoyed doing this little mini project. I want to do more like them because I think they're really satisfying, especially when they turn out like this. Yeah. Super cool. They're going to get a coat of flat, and then, you know, that'll keep it from looking quite as egregious. Really enjoyed doing this. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. Check us out at highcaliberminiatures.com. I'll put the link in the description below. Follow us on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and now Instagram. And check us out at IPMS Nanton. There you go, if you're down there. I know a couple of guys from British Columbia are coming down, so we hope to see you guys there. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.